Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video to do my RWBY review of the episode 11 of volume 8. So we're getting more into the development of what's going on here. There's kind of like talk going on with people, and it's like with the group, with the RWBY group, and it's like, Oscar somehow doesn't have any of his marks anymore. I guess it's because John healed him, but they don't really show that. Meanwhile, John is healing Nora up, but can't do everything, so she still has like scars on her, like, or marks on her skin or arms and stuff like that. There's a lot of emotional moments with this episode in the beginning of it. We have like this huge scene with RWBY and Yang. RWBY basically talks about their mom, basically possibly being killed by becoming a Grimm because of what they had seen with the Silver Eyes, what Salem has been doing. There's that emotional moment. Yang, who biologically is not Summer's like kid, but obviously she was raised by her, and she views her as, her mother. And there's that, and I also made a video covering this on why I don't know why people like overreacted to that, but there was that emotional moment with the two together. They kind of curled together at the end of the scene. So there was that emotional moment between RWBY and Yang, of being, siblings, because the last couple of seasons a lot of people have been kind of upset with those two not really doing that much as siblings. I think Rooster Teeth kind of answered that criticism this season, because it seems like they've kind of checked that back, with them kind of being more to God, more close again. So that was pretty good. Next we had the Ren and Nora emotional moment, about John was there and they were talking about stuff while John was healing them, about them as a couple and them as like a team and the teamwork not in sync. Ren basically talks about how he's just been trying to get better and try to be better than the ops and all this stuff, and he's putting more pressure on himself than he didn't really need to, and so he apologized to both of them. Eventually John leaves the room, because then they start getting into those couple moments, and he kind of just sees himself out. And they basically talk. They are kind of close to each other because they're like very close. Ren says he loves her, and Nora's just basically like doubting herself. All she uses is a hammer, and she basically is saying that like my whole life I kind of loved you, but I've never kind of been by myself once my parents abandoned me and stuff like that. And I kind of just need to make it out on my own. So I guess they're kind of breaking up, but not really, I don't think. I don't know. This kind of an interesting moment, but nonetheless, they are. I still think they're still a couple. I think they're just kind of trying to take it easy, and Nora is just trying to find out who she is as a single person. But yeah, that's kind of where I got that scene at, but nonetheless, it is a pretty good emotional scene because they actually are getting the development of where they have been throughout, like, we've seen their origins, obviously, and whatnot, so we kind of seen that development on screen. So, a pretty good, touching moment, nonetheless, for the first two scenes. We eventually get back to the ops. The Ops are basically talking about Ironwood's plan, and Maral basically is like, you can't do that. He's not really going to go through this, and then he basically, talks about, bringing up the bomb, and Winter's like, why are you doing that? And he's like, I think I made it very clear in the video, so he's being dead serious about everything. He complains about it, and Winter then arrests him, which probably would be a good thing considering the fact that, well, he was going to get killed by Ironwood had that not happened. Everyone else pretty much is hesitating on it, but they're on board. So that's pretty much where that is at. Getting back to the RWBY group, we got now them trying to basically control Penny, who is basically like a loose cannon because like she's got this virus inside of her. They're trying to basically like hold her down because she wants to open the vault and then like self-destruct. They're basically trying to hold her down. Eventually it gets to the point where Penny basically tells RWBY to kill her, and I'll make sure you get the powers. The maiden powers. The Winter Maiden powers. But they basically are like, no, and then they eventually come to the saying that you have aura, so you have a soul, so you should be able to resist it. You're not a machine, even though she is a machine. They're going with the story that, well, she has a soul, so that's why she can fight this, like, she can basically fight it, which I guess would make sense to why she's fighting, being able to fight the resistance of the virus. But at the same time, it still does not change the fact that she is a robot, and there's no one that can really convince me that it still doesn't make sense on why she has the maiden powers. It's still a plot hole, but nonetheless, I do like Penny, but I mean, it is a plot hole. Nonetheless, she breaks free of it after John heals her with her aura, so she is able to now like have control of herself. But she then later says she still feels the virus. John eventually says you can't eventually, hold it on forever. But then they say that you should just go to the vault, and that's a really good idea. Also, there is a scene with Ospen coming back to talk to them about, trying to regain their trust and whatnot. And then you get this pretty good moment with Emerald, who has now joined their side or whatever. So that was kind of the gist of what they were doing. It's kind of interesting with Emerald now being on their side. It's really weird because we really didn't know much about Emerald, and we're learning more about her, but it's just she was so loyal to Cinder. It just seems kind of weird, and now she's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna join their side. So that's where that's at. It'll be really interesting to see what they do, because again, she still has the virus inside of her. So then we have the return of Robin and Crow on screen. It's the first time we've seen them since they broke out. And, well, they didn't really break out. Cinder, broke the prison, and they indirectly got out themselves. They just basically play off on their plot on wanting to get in there, get to where they need to go, to try and do what they got to do. Crow wants to basically kill Ironwood, for everything he has done. And Robin says, no, you can't stoop to their levels. We got to kind of do this, right. And it's kind of where they're at. You know, it'll be interesting to see what they do. And it'll be interesting to see how this is going to go. So, like I said, Ozpin recognizes the group and apologizes for the mistrust, which I kind of got on earlier, and then RWBY, after they came up with this whole idea that they're basically gonna go to the vault, they then RWBY calls up Ironwood and basically surrenders Penny to Ironwood for this plan. It's a plan. I think it is a double cross type plan they're trying to do, but we'll see what happens. Because again they're trying to go to the vault, but very interesting into seeing what they're going to do with this situation. We'll see what happens there. The end of the episode itself, we see Neo opening up her umbrella, and we then see Cinder basically, turn around, and that's kind of how it is. And Wasks is there as well too, so they're meeting up. So that's basically where the scene ends, or where the episode ends. I also have to remind people we are free members that are watching this, so no spoilers if you've already seen the episode for next week, because we haven't seen it yet. So yeah, pretty good episode. What'd you guys think? Personally, I thought it was a good episode. I thought, they had a couple emotional moments, and then they kind of, pretty much the majority of this episode was kind of more of an emotional type episode, because you had the first two scenes with Ruby and Yang as sister siblings, reminiscing about their mother. Then you had, the relationship issue between Ren and Nora. You also have, Ember accepting herself as being on the new side, being on with the these guys, the good guys. You have the thing with Penny, trying to get her back on board from this virus. So they had a lot of and then of course you have the Crow and Robin, doing what they were doing, trying to make their plan. I think it's gonna be quite interesting to see where they go with this episode. I think something's going to happen with Winter, because it just seems like Winter does not like what Ironwood is doing. I personally think he arrested him to just kind of get him, or prevent him from being killed, because it did look like, Ironwood had the gun ready. It'll be very interesting to see, because Ironwood kind of already has suspicions of Winter, because Winter did let the heroes go. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens here in the situation. But nonetheless, that was the episode, and I think next week is I don't know how many more episodes they have. I think either next week or the week after that. I'm not sure if they have 14 or they have 15 this time around. But it'll be very interesting to see what they do. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, rate if you like to hear my videos. Please subscribe. Hit the notification bell for all the latest content. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Discord link in the description. I'm out of here. I'm the SS Ultimate Goku. I'm out of here. Peace.